Okay, I'm gonna do just a really quick video on your ginger bug question because we only have so much space, to reply. So I don't usually do the 2 cups of water recipes because I feel like they dilute the yeast and the bacterias like more or something, and so it takes longer for them to get going. And that's one of the more common like concerns that I've seen in some of the fermenting groups, over on some other social media platforms. And I mean, that's my guess. That's what I'm assuming is happening because it just seems to take longer with more water. And so I do little bits of water while I, feed the sugar and the ginger. And then I usually use honey, or now I am using honey instead of regular sugar. And for some reason, the honey activates it faster, quicker. I mean, that doesn't mean that the sugar doesn't work, right? I mean, clearly you're getting bubbles and it's working. Like the yeast and the bacteria, all they want is sugar content. They don't care what it comes from, right? So those are the 2 like main things that I do differently. Yours, have you tasted it? Have you tasted it at all? Because if it's still super sugary, right, your yeast and bacteria still have a lot of food in there. They will produce the bubbles. You just sometimes got to give it time. Like sometimes I'll even skip a day when I'm making a ginger bug from scratch because I just feel like constantly giving it sugar, like you're not giving it time to really eat the current sugar. I don't know. Like I just feel like I do a lot of things off of feeling. I don't know. Like sometimes I just skip a day, and I'll shake it or whatever. I do shake it instead of stirring it. Sometimes I feel like shaking it really kind of gets things going too. I don't know the science behind that. I just am kind of making observations. And that's pretty much the only differences, but you're doing good so far. You're getting bubbles. I would just, if you want more bubbles, like the true, like serious carbonation, just give it like a few days, just maybe stir it instead of feeding it. Because from what I can tell, it looks like you got a lot of ginger in there. And if you are feeding every day with sugar, you probably got enough sugar in there too for them, to eat and produce the bubbles. I would just maybe give it a few days, set it aside, I don't know what you're planning on doing with it. Like if you're going to drink it, as is, or if you're going to put it in juice or whatever. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that because we're at like 3 minutes anyway. But those are the things that I do different. But you're doing good. I'm going to scratch off ginger bug recap on my list of videos to do because you got it, girl. Like you totally got it. You just like sometimes it takes a little bit longer to really, really get going. So yeah, I look forward to the next few days. You got to let me know. I look forward to seeing when it's like super bubbly for you. It'll get there. It'll get there. Oh, side note, when I experience major bubbles is when I have a solid top on it instead of a piece of cloth. Because, it's releasing gases and stuff like that. And when the top is on it, it holds all of the gases in there. Sure, it builds pressure and all the stuff. But there are times, when you go to open it and it goes, tss, and then all of a sudden it's just like super bubbly. Kind of, like a soda when you open it, like a Pepsi or a whatever, 7-Up. You just open it and all of a sudden all of the bubbles, come rushing up. So that's when I know that it's like super active and ready to go. But I am also constantly paying attention to my ginger bugs because I use them so frequently, and like some people just want to sit it aside, right? And they don't have time to constantly check on it, which is totally fine. And so, the cloth would help. You don't want things to build too much because then you can't get the lid off or it'll pop off. So there is that, but I'm just saying that's when I've experienced major amounts of bubbles is when I have a solid top on. So there's that, but you're doing good. That's just pretty much what it boils down to. You're doing good. Keep going.